We currently have 5 products, and this is a little outdated, and I'll explain in a second. But today, to keep it easy, this is the second time I've actually presented for this group. We're going to talk about the guaranteed life, which we use for something called impaired risk and final expense, and the iconic grow up plan right next to it in the blue, which is our children's whole life insurance. And just a nod on the accident protection plan, it's an accidental death and dismemberment plan that we have out there. We just recently increased the face amount to 500,000, but displayed here you'll see 250. Okay, why final expense? So this is where I like to set the stage and provide a little education so you can have, more meaningful conversations with your clients about why even buy or have a final expense product. So the average cost of a funeral is about $8,300. And depending on where you are buried in the country, you may need something called a vault to cover the casket for a traditional ground burial, which is almost 1,700 additional dollars, which makes the total cost of a funeral almost $10,000. Now, cremation is gaining more steam and becoming a little bit more popular because it's cheaper way to lay loved ones to rest. But that varies from 5,500 to about a little over $7,000. And you can see now that the median cost of a cremation casket is about $1,300, and an urn is about $300. So I like this chart because it shows the increase in price over a 2-year period. So they're looking at 2021 to about 2023. So you can see that everything associated with a funeral is increasing in price. But oddly enough, a metal burial casket stayed flat at $2,500 with no change. Now, what's also interesting is, and these figures come from something called the National Funeral Directors Association. And you can go on this website, I'll display it in a second, and find out a lot about what it takes to put on a funeral, the costs associated with it, so you just can get the math in your head. But if you look over, what I was going to say is inflation from 2017 to 2023, which was just 2 years ago, funeral costs didn't outpace inflation, but they still increase in price, as you can see. And over to the right, this kind of displays across the country how expensive a funeral or cremation service can be. So obviously, I'm in Southern California, so a funeral out here may cost more than in Mississippi. And you can see here that the most expensive place to have a funeral is the New England states, which was surprising to me. But then the cheapest place to have a funeral is the mountain states toward the bottom, which means Arizona, Montana, those states like that. So these are the links that you can click on and go to learn more. So again, you can have more meaningful conversations with your clients and really stress the importance in real time and cost about why it's important to have something in place for final expense. So let's talk about some ways that some people choose to go about paying for that day. Number one would be a GoFundMe. Now, not a bad idea, but it will take a lot of time to raise money to even put a dent in some of the costs that we looked at. So think back to the average cost of a funeral without a vault, casket covering, $8,300. So unless you have a lot of friends and they're very generous, that might not be a good idea to do. A car wash or bake sale. Now, again, I'm in Southern California, and this seems to be the popular mode for some people to go. But how many cupcakes would you have to sell if you chose to do a bake sale? And number three, family or friends. So they're saying that the average credit card debt is really high, but on the national platform, it's over $3 trillion. So good luck asking friends and family to help out with expenses when everybody seems to be compromised financially. A good way to go about this would be to have a plan that speaks to that. And for us, it's the Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance product that, again, we use for final expense and we also use for impaired risk. So Gerber is a brand name that most people have heard of. Most people recognize the iconic image of a baby's head. So why that's important is we're known worldwide. You don't have to explain to your clients who Gerber is and what we are. And we're a trusted brand because of that. Now, this product is guaranteed issue. So there's no health questions, no medical exam. No one's ordering an APS or medical records, no fluids, no tests. As long as you hit our age banding, you can purchase up to $25,000 of guaranteed whole life insurance, and you're a U.S. citizen or legal resident. So this is a sample of our rate card. This is a simple rate card sale. We do have a more comprehensive one that shows everything from age 50 to 80. But just to be transparent, we're not the cheapest. We're not the most expensive. We're right in the middle of the pack in terms of pricing. In some areas, some age bands, groups, we are cheaper than our competition. It just depends on the age and the face amount, but worth giving us a look nonetheless. So let's take a look at the product specs. So issue age is again 50 to 80, but if you're selling in the lovely state of New York, it's 50 to 75. Hopefully none of you sell in Montana because we're not approved to sell in that state, and that's the only state we don't sell in. Again, you can purchase up to $25,000 of the guaranteed whole life insurance product. Now, this plan does build a little cash value, but we're not using it for that. There is a 2-year graded death benefit that I'll cover in a couple of minutes. No underwriting. So I really want to stress that. Very flexible ways to pay the premium monthly, twice a year, annual, or quarterly. And if you choose our automatic check plan from a savings or checking account, you will get an 8% discount, which is reflected on the rate cards. Now, this is an image of our simple one-page application, and just to be transparent, it is an extra half a page if you are using the automatic check plan because you have to fill in the information about the checking or savings account.